morning.
I'm nervous.
I know. It's okay.
I've never drawn a mandala before, especially one based on my chakras. So this is going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not an artist.
Yeah, you are. Everyone's an artist, right? Like, so everyone has creative spirit. I'm sure you create things in your life.
Totally. Totally.
So yeah, and this is just applying that to paper.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, and you're very familiar with chakras.
Yes.
So
yeah. The chakras
it's also generic
are something very dear and special to my heart because I feel like it's a roadmap into how to live my life every single day, like functionally. And I think that's part of, the yogic tradition makes it seem like it's something kind of far away or mysterious, but it's like the way I see it is a functional information that you can bring into your daily life and use as a practice to live fully in your life. So
it sounds very similar to how I feel about mandalas. Yeah, because I have a daily practice with them. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
So are you ready?
Yeah,
so
I'm ready.
you want to do root?
Yes, right? I want to do the root chakra.
I have an example one.
Okay.
If you want to just see.
Okay.
What I did when I was creating them. Of course, you don't have to do anything like this at all, but this is
gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was my example.
Okay.
But everyone's gonna have a different feeling for the chakra. You may not even choose the traditional colors.
Okay.
And that would be fine.
Awesome. I'm
like
super
I went with
excited.
the traditional colors because I'm still trying to figure out the chakras.
Right.
But you could totally pick something completely different.
Okay. Cool.
So.
All right, let's start.
Okay, cool. So usually when I start a mandala, I have two different ways of doing them. I either sit and draw all the forms first, or I do the background and then I put the forms on top of it.
Okay.
And you can do it either way. It's usually, I find it's easier to start when you're first starting to go ahead and start with the drawing part.
Yeah.
And then add color later.
Yeah.
But that's my preference.
Yeah,
so.
I feel more like if I am too into my root chakra, I feel like I need some sort of map or like a boundary or something to work within.
Cool. Okay. So when I start to do mandalas and I'm going to do the structure first, I go ahead and find the center of the paper. That's a 6 by 12 inch ruler and this is 12 by 12 inch paper. Okay. So you can just line it up on the edge and then find where 6 is and put a dot. And that's the center.
Awesome.
And then you're done with that for a little bit. And then,
that's easy.
Yep, take your compass, put it on the center, and just start drawing circles. And kind of put them wherever you want.
Okay. So, is there a technique to use this compass?
So, I usually... Oh, actually, yeah, there you go. Sometimes if you just have it going completely upright and just kind of spin, it'll work too.
Okay. I'm nervous about this spinning.
Ooh, you're getting a spiral.
Okay. There. Well,
go with it.
That is the chakra. Chakra's a circle and a spiral. And as you can see, I'm clumsy with this.
Yeah,
but
it takes some practice, and this one I've been using for a while, so it's a little loose. I need to actually tighten it up. So, I'm actually kind of loving that you're getting a spiral out of this. Thank you.
I think we should tell our viewers that we're at school right now. And
so we're at Pacifica, sitting out by the lunchroom, and everyone's watching us do this. So that's why we keep getting highs and comments, and wow, you really are just going with the spirals, aren't you?
Should I stop?
No, it's cool. I'm feeling really inspired, actually. I keep wanting to do a spiral mandala, and I've never gotten around to it.
When I work with clients in my integrated Reiki practice, I work a lot with the chakra system, and my image of them is of a wheel, the spiral that kind of moves in circles, and functionally, if it's slower or spinning the opposite direction, then there's some sort of dysfunction in the chakra that needs to be worked out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so now you have your circles to kind of
Yeah.
work with, and yours have turned into a spiral, and I've actually never worked with a mandala with a spiral, so this is going to be cool and new.
Awesome.
Okay.
Of course.
Of course, of course this is how this is going to go.
Right.
So the next thing we use is a protractor
Okay.
to put some guidelines in. I happen to like having a grid to work with.
Okay.
So if you just center that on the center dot, I usually put the dot right underneath that center point.
Yep.
And then you can use your pencil, and you can actually break it into, if you want to do like 8 sections all the way around, then you would use 45-degree increments.
Okay.
If you want to do 12 sections all the way around, you would use 30-degree.
Okay. And now what am I doing? I'm just drawing dots?
You just draw a dot, and then we'll use a ruler later. And you can actually also
do they have to be symmetrical?
It doesn't. I tend to draw symmetrical mandalas, but you don't have to draw a symmetrical mandala if you don't want to. Of course I do. Yeah.
And of course,
that's your first
I'm
question.
the opposite.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's what this whole work is about, right?
Yeah.
Because all of us have a unique sense of this, and it's fascinating. So on the other side too?
No, you don't need them there. Because now you just take the ruler.
Okay.
And
ooh.
Yeah.
So this is really exciting. So even as I'm drawing this now, I can feel the energy of the root chakra coming in, even though this is just pencil.
Yeah.
Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And
and
I just
totally
noticed
just
how
intuiting
how
where
much,
to put them.
yeah, how much it's interesting to watch did I do it right, come up, and especially with creating art, it's like, how do you do art right,
Yeah, I don't know that there is a right or wrong.
Yeah.
Personally, yeah.
This is really fun.
Yeah, so after I create a grid, then, after you're going to have this grid set up, then you'll start drawing in pen.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah, which is very nerve-wracking for a lot of people. I like to just go straight to pen for the actual structure of the mandala. Okay. These lines will actually end up being erased, typically, unless you are in love with them, and then if you want to leave them in, you can.
Okay.
But I always erase mine.
Okay.
But I like to go to pen, and then you can't erase anything once you start with pen. And so you just kind of have to accept that whatever's going to come out is what's supposed to come out.
Okay.
The light's a little weird.
I like this, though.
I do too.
The structure so far.
Yeah.
So I'm going to grab a pen.
Yeah, so I have 2
here.
That's the 03, and it's kind of small for this size mandala. So here's the 05. The 03 is what I tend to use when I do my little mandalas.
So at the workshop, we're going to provide all of these things.
You just picked up a ruler. I'm so intrigued. I don't tend to use rulers when I'm drawing mine.
Oh.
You can. I get a totally different feeling about them.
That's interesting.
When I've used rulers on some of them, and I have this different feeling from the mandalas I've drawn with rulers and the ones without. So I don't think there's a right or a wrong way with them.
Okay.
I usually start from the center going outwards. The center of the mandalas usually represents your inner self.
Yeah.
That, maybe no one's even seen.
Right.
And then as you go out, it becomes the self that you show to the world.
And so it's interesting that I intuitively went
to the
outside because a lot of being like an empathic person, everything feels like it's coming towards me, and I sometimes struggle with finding like my own sense of center, which is why I chose to do the root chakra. So this is the fun, exciting stuff that we get to do in this work.
Yeah. Okay. I'm always for me with the mandalas, it's the process.
Yeah.
And it is what starts coming up when I start drawing. So and rarely I interpret my final product. I'm usually interpreting what's going on while I draw.
Yeah.
For example, like I didn't have any issues really with the root chakra when I did it, but when I did my solar plexus chakra, so much stuff came up. Of course, yeah. So solar plexus chakra is associated with power, and for mine, when I first drew it, the lines I drew on in the design, like I loved my background. It was this gorgeous yellow with these other splashes of color. Then I started drawing the lines on them, and I loved it in person. It was beautiful, and then I took a picture so that we could actually put it on a flyer, and the lines disappeared into it. They were too light.
Right.
Like my power's too light.
Yeah.
Or
And
something.
who I am in the world is too light.
And too quiet.
And too
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. And I struggle with that because I'm like, oh crap, I need to darken these lines. And so I went and did that, and it took about a week because I had so much resistance to doing it. And by the end, like, it's gorgeous, but I still feel angry that I had to do that.
Yeah.
That I had to make my power loud to be heard.
And that's what
essentially.
comes up a
Yeah.
lot with the solar plexus chakra,
Yeah.
right? Is anger and
Yeah.
frustration, and we tend to get stuck in that energy because it's so dense and powerful, and that's why the solar plexus is right here, and that's why a lot of us have maybe digestion problems, you know, interesting stuff like that.
So you're gonna leave these lines? That's exciting.
Should I not? Or?
No, I just think it's exciting. I never leave my lines. And I don't know why. Like, I've thought about adding like guidelines in pen later, but
Okay. Was I supposed to do something different with the pen?
no.
Oh, okay.
I love watching other people's processes with these. And then usually I start at the center, and I actually use the guidelines to create shapes on them,
Oh.
which is why I end up erasing all the guidelines later, because they're simply there for me to add shape.
And can you walk me through how to add a shape?
Yes, absolutely. Although it seems as though you want to work in your spiral.
I do feel really connected to the spiral
Yeah.
because it's movement to me,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going counterclockwise, which is something to notice as well. Chakras spin in certain
Directions.
directions.
There's Diana. It was one of our professors here.
So, I'm almost done.
Okay. Yeah.
They weren't up. There's nobody up there.
Yeah. So okay. So you've gone with, you're keeping your grid. You love your
Yeah.
grid. Cool. So the first thing I do, I tend to start at the center. I know you had a desire to start at the outside.
But no, I think it would be helpful for me to start at the center.
Okay. Then we'll start at the center.
Yeah.
And I end up putting shapes either in or on the line up to the line. So I have an example. If you'll pull out one of my journals so you can kind of see. I hope this journal has an example. Yeah, this will work.
Oh, okay. And I use this, and I do this in pen, huh?
Yeah, you do it in pen, so you can't go back on it. So this one, for instance, the center one, it's these like kind of peaks.
Okay.
And I went like kind of in between and up. You could do something else. You could do triangles. You could do something I called parentheses that other people call lotus. You could do a shape like this. You can do whatever shape you feel like putting there, quite frankly. You could have it be asymmetrical and in different areas have different shapes. But I tend to put shapes and then build it out. And mine do tend to be symmetrical. So
I don't even know how to be symmetrical.
that's cool. I could probably stand to have some more looseness in my life. So yeah.
Okay. Like I'm trying to draw like a shape like what you were doing, and it's really challenging for me, but
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, cool.
going with what
Yeah.
is happening.
And that's typically how mandalas go. None of my mandalas are perfect. Ever. And nothing is ever perfect.
Right.
So my mom had a sewing store for years, and initially it started out as heirloom sewing, like French hand sewing, the little lacy dresses people wear for like baptisms, cotillions, whatever. And then eventually it was quilting, and there were, we used to say, especially with the the sewing for the kids' clothing and smocking, and people would freak out if there was a mistake, if something wasn't symmetrical, and no one's going to notice on a galloping horse. Once you put it on the kid, no one's going to notice. Once your mandala is complete, there's usually so much going on in a mandala, nobody will notice.
Right. And it's really for you, right?
Yeah, it's for you. Yeah.
And
it's really about your feelings that come up during it, more so than the finished product.
And that's what is exciting about, I think, the workshop that we've kind of created together, is that so we work on experiencing what the chakra maybe feels like, smells like, tastes like, or different experiential feelings of what a chakra is, and then we go into mandala drawing part, and so we can see how is that working in you. Like, so it's like we kind of, the beginning part that I'm gonna be sharing is like stirring up the pot, and then you get to like solidify, like sort of like contain it and put it in a structure of like, how is this working in your life, and how do you draw it, and then like hold it in your, I mean, I'm feeling so much heart energy right now as I'm drawing this.
Yeah. And sometimes, so I can see you're starting to pause.
Yeah.
And like think, and sometimes like I just have to sit with my mandalas. I do a row, and then I have no clue what comes next, and I just sit and wait, and eventually something will come up that I need to put a dot here or a line here or certain things. I've been creating them since April, so I think I'm close to 6 months of one a day, and I have certain motifs that show up over and over again. Like movement to me ends up looking like windmills. Stress ends up looking like these points pointing inwards at my center, like being attacked. The different colors are representing different things. The like kind of everything represents something.
I feel like this is a good time to pause, because I am paused in my drawing, and so I hope this gives you, like, our workshop participants a good idea of kind of how we're going to be working over the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching this.
I'm Shannon.
Rachel. Thanks.